with that. All right, so in regards to establishing those routines, a lot of times families are just torn as to, I don't even know where to start, right? It's like organizing your closet. I don't know what to start with first. I don't know which closet to start with first. It's so overwhelming. And so I'm going to help you figure out where you start. And the three things that I'm going to help you decide or organize is you have to really determine what you want to get done throughout your day. And a lot of times when I work with families, in my business, Everything Autism, sometimes it's just working through, what do I want my day to look like? What do I want to get accomplished at the end of the day? And a lot of times it's overwhelming to make that decision because we have high expectations for what we want our day to look like. And so I'm going to help you sort of streamline that. The other part is it's really important for you to decide, especially now that our kiddos are home and parents are working from home, you really need to divide your routines into 3 to 4 parts of the day. Because it's really overwhelming to say, oh, okay, I want to get all of this done, or we have to fit all of this in, and then I don't even know where to start or where to put that or when do I do that. So if you think about what you want to get done and then you divide it into parts of the day, then you can delegate those responsibilities and you can assign the tasks to another adult or to kiddos in the household. And I'm thinking and hoping that from this stay at home all day without going out, I'm really, really hoping that a lot of parents get comfortable with delegating responsibilities and kids walk away or go back to school, return back to whatever our new normal is going to be with a little bit more independence and self-help skills, and also with a little bit more responsibility in the household, day-to-day things that need to get done. I think we tend to feel like we have to do everything because it's easier or it's quicker. But if we take some time to teach our kiddos, it makes it much easier. All right. So when it comes to making that list, right, what do I need to get done? We have to prioritize. And the top sort of 3 things that I think about are keeping our kids busy, right? What tasks do I want to give my kiddos because we have all of these hours to fill? We're not going to soccer practice. We're not having school time. We're not having just 2 hours in the evening to fill. It's a lot of hours, and we don't want our kids necessarily just eating snacks all day. And yes, they're going to have a little bit more technology time than they typically do. But in terms of what you want to get done, you want to make that list, and it doesn't have to be long, but things that you want your kids to have completed. And the other thing is household tasks or responsibilities, right? Whether it's cooking dinner, whether it's doing laundry, paying bills, whatever that looks like, we have to prioritize what really needs to get done. And I think that during this time of whatever we want to call it, the new normal, the uncertainty, we're going to have to think about letting some things go. And parents are going to have to give themselves permission to say, okay, maybe dusting or mopping every day, because I love to see a clean floor, is not going to be a priority right now. Because you'll become overwhelmed if you are trying to maintain a spotless household when everyone is home. Now, that doesn't mean your house should look a mess. That doesn't mean dishes should be piling up. What you can do is you can decide things like a clean kitchen is important, a clean bathroom is important, and a safe environment for us to walk through in terms of toys and things on the floor. Those are some priorities. So making that list of what is important and what are the household responsibilities. Maybe laundry might even be a big responsibility now because no one's going to school and lots of folks are staying in their PJs, and washing and ironing school uniforms and school clothes is not a priority. So maybe naturally that kind of has gone to the side. although I have seen some families getting really savvy and kids are getting dressed for school and sitting at the kitchen table. But thinking about prioritizing your household responsibilities, because you will become overwhelmed and you will consume yourself, and then you will just not get anything done because your expectations for getting everything done is just going to be overwhelming. And the other thing to consider is a lot of families are working from home. So thinking about what those work tasks are that you have to finish for work. And I think it's important for parents to give themselves permission to advocate to their boss or their workplace. Maybe I can't do the 9 o'clock meetings because that's the time when all of my kids are getting their breakfast, or I'm starting to do homeschool, because it really is tough to work from home with children. I mean, we've seen all the funny videos on social media. It's tough. It's not easy. It seems, really simple. I was sharing yesterday that one of my moms in Australia literally locked herself in the closet and put a sign that said, Mom is busy, because she needed to get some things done and she really just needed time without the kiddos asking her questions. And so with that, knowing that you have to get some stuff done if you're working from home, we have to keep our kids busy. We have to give them something to do. And we don't always want that to be just technology all day long, because then it's going to be hard to break later. All right, so when and how do I divide that? I don't really know where to start, Stacy. I'm not really sure. In a sort of standard way, we think of what? Our morning, our afternoon, our evening, and our night. And everyone's morning is different. Some folks can get up early in the morning before everyone awakes, have their coffee, and get some things done. And some folks are night owls, and when everyone goes to bed, that's when they do some of those little things that they need to complete. So that's where you have to decide if you're a morning person or if you're a night person, when are you going to fit in that time alone, right? That time where you have to, whether it's pay bills online, whether it's fill out forms for whatever is coming down the pipeline in terms of resources available to families. And when I tell families to break down their day, one of the things that is really important is, when I finish going through this PowerPoint, I want you to not feel that, oh, I have to get my morning, afternoon, evening, and night schedule together right now. I encourage you to pick a time and start. Maybe on Thursday, you can work on an afternoon schedule. On Friday, you can throw in an evening schedule. So you can baby step it and work on one section of the day at a time, get that routine down, and then add another routine, and then you start building, and then your whole day is routine in terms of there's not a lot of chaos. The other component in terms of when and how do I divide all of those things that need to get done or that I want to get done, you have to know your child's optimal times, but you also have to know your optimal time. And knowing your child's optimal time, that's where you have to decide, if my child has some academic activities that I want to work on, if I want to work on their communication skills, or maybe I am doing some of the physical therapy that they're not getting because they're not going to the clinic, but I can do some of those range and motion activities with my child on my own. Think about your child's optimal time and advocate to your worker, to your whatever company, and let them know, because you're not going to be able to be your very best working from home if you are thinking in the back of your head, oh, I'm missing the opportunity to get this done. This is my child's optimal time, and I can't do it because we have a team meeting. And I know you won't always have control over that, but I want you to think about advocating for that. And in this time, we all need to make sure that family dynamic and less chaos is in place as much as possible, because if not, we're all going to just be exhausted, and we're not going to be able to be there for our children. And it's a lot on our plate already, along with working from home with children and doing home school. And I also want you to think about being realistic about your expectations. I saw a post where a parent said that the school is expecting her to like scan and email assignments every day. That's ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. And I think that, I talked yesterday about advocating to your child's school. I can't do this by the end of the day. I can try to get this done by the end of the week and not feel like you have to be accountable, because this is uncharted territory. The schools don't know what they're going to do with all of these worksheets being turned in. No one knows what this is going to look like. So don't set expectations for yourself in regards to what you want to get done within a day, and really think about what you can realistically get completed. All right, this is probably going to be a new one for a lot of folks. Delegating. How do I delegate? My children don't listen. My spouse is, not on board. My spouse is taking advantage of saying they're working in their office and avoiding coming into the living room where the children are. So the way you delegate, you literally just make a statement, whether you have family meeting, whether you sit at the dinner table and say, you know what, this is a time we are going to set some new house rules. New house rules. This is new to all of us, and we need to make some new rules. I can't do everything, and you can't do everything, and we all need to pitch in. And I think this is a really good time to start allowing your children to take on a chore. There are so many simple things that your kiddos can do, whether it's emptying the bathroom garbage can, or your child, folding socks, folding underwear, folding shorts. And with that said, one of the things that you have to give yourself permission as a parent, especially if you like things a certain way, you really are going to have to go inside of yourself and just let that go. Because in the long run, your child will learn a self-help skill independently. The world is not going to fall apart if the socks and the shirts and the shorts are not folded perfectly. The world is not going to fall apart if your child puts things in their drawer and it's not beautiful and pretty. It really is not going to fall apart. But if you try to take on doing everything along with work at home, children at home, doing school at home, it is going to fall apart in your household. So you have to think about that priority in terms of, I'm going to give my children a little bit of responsibility for picking up their toys, putting their clothes in the hamper. And what's great is a lot of times some of those little chores are good for working on fine motor skills. It helps with their gross motor skills. It will help with that executive functioning and motor planning. Just those little things. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, but think of some little things that your children can do. And those of you who need to have it a certain way, this is a good time to start letting go of that and just delegating those responsibilities. And it really is going to be okay. It may not look pretty, but it's going to be okay. If you try to do it all, it's just going to fall apart. And you may have already gotten to that point, and maybe that's why you're here, to figure out how I cannot be so stressed in this time of uncertainty and not really sure, but having to take on a lot more responsibilities and hours with your children at home. But also the kids want to go to school, they want to go to the park, they want to see their friends. So there's a lot of dynamics going on. The other thing in terms of delegating, assign your tasks based on priority. Think of sit down, and whether it's sitting down by yourself, sitting down with the other adult in the room, or maybe even an older child that may have a little bit more responsibilities already. Think about what are the tasks that are really a priority, and then assign them according to what that person should be doing, can be doing, and will have time to do. It's all about shifting our priorities right now and having a different perspective on our